Welcome to episode 27 in our series on Rabbi Moshe Chaim Luzzatto's The Path of the Just. So we're up to chapter 18 and we're on a new rung of this metaphysical ladder, and we're dealing with the virtue of piety. And the Ramchal is going to describe this as it's a very, very difficult concept to understand. What is it to be pious? Is it the same as many other attributes that we must attain? Or is it something different? I think the Ramchal is going to describe it as the ultimate relationship. First of all, he instructs the servant of God to cleanse and refine him or herself to such a degree that he's now in a proper, intimate relationship with God, like a family, like a father to a son. This should be your relationship, or a mother towards a daughter. This is how you would feel your relationship with God, an ever-present guide in your life, and so familiar to you that a simple nudge or a look in the right direction is enough to feed a message that is very complicated. But the Ramchal is going to describe this because this is a very complex idea, the idea of piety. So the Ramchal begins. The virtue of piety requires extensive clarification. Numerous customs and outlooks that are accepted by many people go by the name piety, when in reality these are merely the outer shells of piety, without its comprehensiveness, its coherence, or its effectiveness. This is the result of inadequate analysis and flawed knowledge on the part of these so-called strivers for the attainment of virtues. They have neither exerted themselves nor toiled to comprehend the way of the eternal in a clear and direct way. Rather, they have adopted pseudo-pious customs, following whatever initially makes sense to them, without looking deeper into the matter and without applying any critical sense. These people have given piety a bad name among the general populace, and particularly the intelligent among them. So the Ramchal is reminding us, you cannot hide from God's insight into you. God knows you better than you obviously know yourself, and it's not the relationship that you can. You have some cover, so to speak. If you're dealing with another human, you have some cover just because you are separate from the other person. And, although perhaps you are an honest person, there are certain things that you perhaps are not completely honest about, perhaps just feelings. You don't describe your own feelings. But God understands every single feeling you have in your body, this deepest secret you have in your mind is available to God at all times. So you can't fool God. So in other words, if you want to have a relationship, you have to be 100% honest in your feelings, for good or for bad. If you have bad feelings, those are completely obvious to God. So don't try and fake that you're something else. Just be yourself. Act naturally. But before you act naturally, refine your character, refine your soul, refine your ethics, and then you are a worthy servant of God, and God will push you in the right directions, in the best path for you. And Ramchal continues, thus, the general populace already think that piety goes hand in hand with empty values, or with things that are contrary to reason and intelligence. And they believe that this is so, since piety seems to consist entirely of the recitation of many supplications, lengthy confessions, exaggerated wailings and prostrations, and strange deadly mortifications, such as ablutions in ice and snow and the like. What they do not realize is that, although some of these practices are necessary for Ba'alei Teshuvah, and some are appropriate for the acquisition of abstinence, nonetheless, the virtue of piety is not based on any of these. The best of these customs could at most be an adjunct to piety. The nature of piety itself, however, is very profound and difficult to grasp. It rests on the foundations of great wisdom and the thorough rectification of one's conduct, and as such it is worthy of pursuit by those who are wise of heart, for it is only given to the wise to truly attain it. Similarly, our sages of blessed memory said, and he quotes from Ethics of Our Fathers, chapter 2, Mishnah 5, an ignorant person will never be pious. We will now explain this concept step by step. The root of piety is epitomized in the statement of our sages of blessed memory, and he quotes from Berachot 17a. Praiseworthy is the man whose labor is in the Torah, and who pleases his Creator. What this means is that the mitzvot that are binding on all of Israel are already known, and the delimitation of their duties is known. Yet he who truly loves the Creator, may his name be blessed, will not consciously try to restrict his observance to the mere fulfillment of the well-known duties that obligate the whole of Israel in general. Rather, what will occur will be similar to the reaction of a son who loves his father. If his father were to just barely express his desire for something, the son would still do everything within his power to satisfy this wish. And although his father may have expressed himself only once and in half a sentence, this son would not have had any difficulty in understanding his father's desire, including the unstated parts of it. For, through his own reasoning, he understands that this pleases his father, and that he need not wait until his father instructs him more explicitly or repeats his words. So this is very, very true. You must cultivate a relationship with God that the mere, like a father would just nod at the son, and both would have a deep understanding of what each other wants, or what the father wants to what message the father wants to give. And it's almost like it's an instruction. A simple nod or a look in a certain direction would be enough, because you're both on the similar wavelength, or the same wavelength. That's what God wants. God wants you to be in consonance with his values. And the Ramchal continues, with our own eyes we see this type of phenomenon. It transpires every moment and every hour, between those who are devoted friends, between a man and his wife, between a father and his son. In other words, between any two people whose attachment is truly strong. In these cases, one should not say, I have not been instructed to do more. What I have explicitly been instructed to do is enough. Instead, from the instructions given, he should deduce what is on the other person's mind, and he should attempt to please the other party to the best of his understanding. The same holds true for one who loves his Creator with faithful devotion, for he too is one of those who are devoted to another. The mitzvot, whose requirements were openly made known to all, should be viewed as merely a revelation of his thoughts, to serve as an indication of the will and desire of the Blessed One. Therefore, one should not say, I don't have to go beyond what is explicitly prohibited, or, if I do what I am required to do, I am fulfilling my responsibility. Rather, he should say, since it has become clear to me that he has indicated a desire in this direction, this should lead me on to intensify my efforts in this matter and to expand upon them in any way that I would judge to be pleasing to the Blessed One. Such a person may be called one who pleases his Creator. Piety, therefore, involves the comprehensive performance of all mitzvot in whatever ways and conditions that are suitable and feasible. As you can see, piety is in the same category as abstinence, the difference being only that abstinence applies to the negative commandments, while piety applies to the positive ones. Yet the two actually have one goal: to go beyond the explicit by extrapolating from the specifics of a mitzvah what is pleasing to the Blessed One. These are the guidelines of true piety. Now we will define its main elements. So, excellent chapter that's this, the virtue of piety, this new rung on the ladder. And so, just to recap, the Ramchal is describing that we're commanded to do certain things, but a really intelligent and caring servant will go beyond the duty. I know it's a strange comparison, but I immediately, when I was reading this, thinking of when for example, your wife or family member, when it's their birthdays coming up, if you can go by the letter of the law, and you can perhaps for your wife buy a bunch of flowers and some chocolates for a birthday. But if throughout the course of the year you were so enamored of her that every time you went out shopping or you went out to a market or something, a flea market, you noticed certain things that she liked. And as soon as she expressed some desire for something, you kept it at the back of your mind, and you always had that in your mind that when her birthday comes, I'm going to get that, because she'll be so surprised that I remembered, and I know that this is something that she really, really, really wants. Those are the two attitudes to this. One is like a 24-hour devoted relationship, and the other one is just fulfilling the requirements of a husband in terms of this kind of birthday present. So you have to be that kind of a doting husband or servant of God, and desire to make your partner more than happy, to show that you are a faithful partner. And yeah, that is a great chapter. And the next chapter, chapter 19, we deal with the elements of piety.